Welcome back to Rider's Rev. We're going to be doing the air filter replacement on this K1300S. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing that I want to go over is that we have to remove these side fairings and the lower fairings that are underneath. I've already removed the lower fairings for a prior job and there's no need to be putting them back on. So what I want to show is that we need to remove all the screws on the lower fairings, and they pretty much just come right off. For this job today, the majority of the job we're going to be using the T25 TORX Bit. This is a snap-on version, but you can use whatever version you want. Pretty much all the fairing and cowling screws on BMWs are the T25 TORX Bit. Okay, once we start using our T27 TORX bit to remove the lower fairing screws throughout the bottom side of the motorcycle, we're going to come around here to the front, and I want to show you something important here. We have more T27 TORX bit screws on the inside of this fairing, and as you can see down here, what has happened is at some point the lower fairing has broken off, because my guess is whoever took off this lower fairing last didn't know about this screw. They took all the other screws off and yanked on it and it busted. So on both sides, the lower fairing is attached by these TORX bits on the inside. Also, the upper fairing has a TORX bit which is right in there. So you're gonna need to use some sort of 90-degree tool like this small snap-on ratchet, and we're going to go ahead and remove these screws on both sides just to make sure they're all out. Okay, once all the inside fairing screws are removed, we're going to remove these outside ones. You can see I've already removed this side. Find a safe place to put your fairings. I like to hang them up if I can. And here I want to show you guys something. I've been working on sport bikes for over 20 years, and I always like to organize my bolts and screws in a certain way. So typically this represents the front of the motorcycle. On a sport bike, you're going to have upper right screws. You're going to have upper left screws. You're going to have lower right screws, center screws, under. This is just how I do it. So just giving you an example if you want to keep your stuff organized. In this case, they're almost all the same, but on a lot of bikes, they have different shoulders and collars and lengths and all that, even different head sizes. So yeah, just moving on to that other side now. Remove the outside left. There is also an inside screw right here. Actually, it's just this one that you need to remove, not the inside one. This fairing attaches to this fairing, but if you take the one out that goes right there, the whole thing comes off. I'll put these screws on this left upper side. Okay, now we have both side fairings off and lower fairings off. We need to remove this tank shelter to access the air filters. So we're just going to go ahead and start removing all the screws we see on the outside. See this one up here by the console. Move around to the other side. Going to remove this center panel here. I'll set that aside. As you can see on this tank fairing, there is these little tabs that fit in. It also appears that we do not have to remove these screws here, although it will help so you can see when you go to put it back in. But by pulling on that tank fairing, once everything was unscrewed, there's a slot down in here. Might be hard to see, but it fits in like this, and there's like a little rubber bushing. Okay, now that this tank cover has been removed, this is where the air filter lies. On this BMW, I forgot to mention, it does use 2 air filters. So we're gonna be replacing both, obviously. There's one on the left, one on the right side. Here, they're held in by these clips. We're gonna remove this clip here. We're gonna grab a flathead screwdriver to pry that clip out. So now the bottom clip is out. This portion of this duct, it's almost free here. If we just work it out just a little bit. Wow, look at that. We can get the air filter out. That thing is covered in bugs and dust. The customer reported replacing these approximately 24,000 miles ago. So you can see we are in Arizona, so we do get a lot of dust here, and a lot of bugs, especially in the summertime. But we'll go ahead and begin to replace these. So for the air filters today, we're going to use High Flow Filtro air filter. The part number is 7917. I've been using these for years. Pretty much the best direct replacement air filter on the market. affordable and easy to get online. Okay, before we replace the air filter, we're gonna use our Worth multi-purpose solvent. We're gonna clean all this gunk and bugs and dirt out from these air ducts. Then we're gonna go ahead and pry this out just enough. And then we're going to slide that air filter and that duct back in between that air box. Just like that. Once we get the air filter into the air box and the duct line back up, we're going to install our clips. And looks like this right side is done now. We're gonna go over to the left side. So same thing here. If need be, you can use a flathead screwdriver to remove the clips. I'm gonna pull out our air duct, just enough to gain access. This one looks just as bad, with a lot of bugs and a lot of dirt in there. Gonna clean out this duct really good. Get all the dirt and the bugs out. These air filters are symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which way you put them in. We're gonna pull back just a little bit to get this in there. Make sure the air filter is seated all the way into the duct. Now it should be easy to slide in. There it is right there. Push on the top, reinstall our clip. with both air filters installed and both clips put back in on each side, we're going to go ahead and reverse the order of removing the panels. We will put the center pieces on, the side center pieces on first, the top piece, reinstall the side fairings, and that'll be the completion of this job. Hopefully this video helped you. If you got anything from this, I would really appreciate if you would like and subscribe.